My religious beliefs play an important part in my life, and I'm very proud of our Mithraeum. But I wonder what it will look like when we have gone and there is no one left to care for it.
Ilatorious Victorialus, Erastus necessitas, Ararius despondeo, Spiritus Domino, Patriarcha Gladiator, Afflictio Homento, Divinitas Salutaras, Vertivas Libertas.
About 80 metres from the southwest corner of Brocolitia Roman fort are the remains of an early 3rd century Mithraeum. It was discovered in 1949 and excavated in 1950. Like other Mithraea, the Brocolitia, for example, had the usual anteroom, the narthex, and a nave with raised benches, podia, along the sides. The narthex and nave were separated by a wattlework screen, the base of which was found to be exceptionally well preserved. Excavations at the site revealed 3 phases of development. The first phase, around 200 AD, was the construction of a small Mithraeum of around 5.5 metres wide and 8 metres long, just large enough for a handful of worshippers, a dozen at most. It contained the usual narthex and nave, with raised benches at each side and a dais for altars at the far end. In front of the altars laid a ritual hearth, fuelled with Mediterranean pine cones. These pine cones would have been used to hallow the altar platform or ward off evil. Ceremonial feasts or sacrifices were represented by the finding of the bones of young pigs, lambs, or goats. This earliest shrine was deliberately dismantled at about 222 AD, when the Mithraeum was rebuilt as a much larger building. This was 11 metres in length, furnished with longer side benches and statues of Celtes and Celtopates. It suggests that the congregation could be said to have enlarged considerably. At some point, the floor level was raised in the anteroom of the temple to accommodate the insertion of an oblong-shaped stone receptacle in the ground, 18 inches deep. Like a coffin, this trials pit was close to the hearth, so no doubt the Mithraists could be subjected to ordeals involving heat and cold, a part of the Mithraic tests of endurance and terror induced by being entombed. The base of the wattle screen between the anteroom and nave and the wattle revetting of the benches were exceptionally well preserved on excavation, as were the bases of the upright posts and the board flooring, over which, on the floor of the nave, there was a covering of heather. This second phase existed for the entire 3rd century, ending when the Mithraeum was looted and the furnishings destroyed at around 296 to 297 AD. The building and the stone monuments seemingly remained intact at this time, and the Mithraeum was refurnished in the 3rd and final phase shortly after the looting. Three fine altars stood in the sanctuary, one with a notable relief of Mithras with a radiate crown, pierced for illumination. These 3 monuments were erected by different cohort prefects of the Cohors I Batavorum, an auxiliary cavalry unit stationed at Brocolitia. Below the altars, a ritual pit contained a thin cup and a beaker with the skull of a fowl in it. 4 little altars lay along the edge of the side benches. The complete lack of coins dated after 308 AD suggests that the temple did not remain in use for much of the 4th century, when it was deliberately desecrated and destroyed. The statues of Chaltes and Chaltopates have been deliberately destroyed or disfigured, and the relief of the Tauroctony scene have been removed, leaving only one broken fragment behind. After this, the building was left to decay and began to collapse. One of its roof beams was found among the ruins. Water levels in the area rose, thus protecting the wood of the building. By the middle of the century, it seems that the area was being used as a rubbish tip. The site at Carrawburgh has been restored and preserved to its 4th century plan, complete with replicas of the altars that are in the Hadrian Wall gallery in the Great North Museum.
But I wonder what it will look like when we have gone and there is no one left to care for it.